Okay, welcome to LING 360. We're looking at lesson 1.1, first lesson of this whole semester. So let me share my screen so we can get rolling here. And we're looking at lesson 1.1, types. As you know, I use a Google Doc to have my lesson plans available to students. So the objective of this lesson is that students will understand Python's basic or primitive type system and be capable of determining the type of a given value with the type function. Okay. So in the textbook Think Python Chapter 1, the way the program talks about programming and the fact that problem solving is a central skill. And you have to problem solve. And so they give the analogy, or I give the analogy, of a toolbox, and you have a palette of raw materials like lumber and nails, etc. And that's somewhat similar to the analogy, I think kind of holds for programming languages, which are the toolbox, and then you have raw materials like directories full of files or input from a user, and that's the raw materials that you use and you create something. Anyway, but the first thing we need to know is that computers think in certain types. When they see a value, they also know the type that that value is. And so, for example, int is short for integer, which is our whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Floats are floating point numbers, which are numbers with decimals. So 3.14, 159. For example, pi is a float because it has decimal points. str is short for string. That's what we'll use a lot in this class with text processing. And then bool is short for Boolean value. That's just true or false. So Boolean value in computer speak is just true or false. Okay. So we're going to jump right into a practice. And the practice is that you're going to use the type function to find out the type of the following sets of values. So you need to open up PyCharm or any other Python interpreter you want, but you need to open up the interpreter. So let me open up PyCharm. PyCharm is a integrated development environment, like I mentioned. And I'm gonna go up to View and Tool Windows and Python Console. Once again, within PyCharm, I went up to View, Tool Windows, and Python Console. And it brings up a little interactive console down here, which there are other terms. You may hear the term shell or REPL, which stands for read, evaluate, print loop. So if I give it a command, so for example, if I say print hello world, enter on the keyboard, it'll print hello right there. And it'll come down here and wait for the next command. If I say what's whatever 2 + 4, it'll say 6. Anyway, this is where I'm going to be here for a bit, and this is where you should go. And so jumping back over here, we want to know what type these are. So all you do is, I'll give you an example here with number 1. Come back over here and say type, open parentheses, and then I think I had number 4 there. Enter, and it says int. So that means it's an integer. It's a whole number. And -3 there. Okay, let's take a look at -3. We're going to assume that it will give us the same type. Let's double check. Yeah. Int number 6, same thing. Okay. So those 3 numbers are what the computer, what Python is calling int, short for integer. That is a whole number. So pause the video here and do the same thing with these other values. So the next one you do 4.5 in here, type, open parentheses, 4.5, and see what value it is. And then the next one you would do open quote, either single or double, and within the type function, and you would see what it is. So anyway, pause the video here and take a few minutes just to do this. Ready, set, pause. Welcome back. So if you do this correctly, these should be floats, right? If I type in type 4.5, that is a float, as are these other ones over here. Hello, and any of these things within quotes, whether they are single or double. Doesn't matter to Python if you use single or double. I will just show you that very clearly. Those are both strings. STRs right there is the output right there. So whether it's single or double, doesn't matter to Python. Some programming languages that is important, but that's not the case with Python. Either would be fine. And then true. So type capital T on true. Oops, I misspelled type. That's why I threw that error. Let me correctly spell type. There we go. Type open parentheses true with the capital T. That's a bool. That is a Boolean value that is either true or false. Same thing if I were to do false. I keep capital F on false. Yeah, it's a bool. So anyway, that's how you use the type function to have Python tell you what type it sees a value as having. The most common ones that we just saw right now are, these are very common. Integers are whole numbers. Floats are numbers with decimal points. Strings are strings. They're strings. They're a different type of data type. And bools are true or false, logical values. Okay, so that is lesson 1.1. See you next time.